Now, Satan, we know of because of the Bible. The Bible is a book. Books have been known to change lives. Surbhi, I feel like you wanted to take some time to get us back to the importance of literature and its life-changing impact. Am I wrong? And if no, the floor is yours.
That was a really slick transition. I appreciate it.
That's what I do.
So I've been thinking a lot about books because, so as I mentioned earlier, I've been thinking a lot about my life. And growing up, I often felt like an outsider. I grew up in an area where there weren't a lot of people that looked like me or had a similar culture. Like, for an example, when I would say I'm Indian, people would ask what tribe I'm from. And on top of that, I was also just really outspoken as a kid. I had an opinion about everything and I wanted to share it with everyone. So I always felt like I didn't quite fit in. I looked different, I sounded different, and I wasn't better or worse than anyone. I just was different. So to escape, I read a lot, and I would develop really strong attachments to the characters in books, and I would laugh and cry, and I would feel everything so strongly, and I still do even now. If a character dies in a book, I'll feel like I'm in mourning. If something great happens, then I'll want to celebrate. And I think a lot of my personality developed as a result of the books that I read as a kid. And I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I think it's in large part to literature. And recently, Beverly Cleary died. And for those of you who don't know, she was a novelist who created the wonderful character Ramona Quimby. She wrote several children's books. But the series that she's perhaps best known for is the one about Ramona, and she's young. I think she's about like 8 or 9, and it's about her life. And some of these books are called Beezus and Ramona, Ramona the Pest, and Ramona the Brave. And I loved these books. I think my mom bought me the first one, and she was like, "You would really like this." And I think I was about 6 or 7, and I just loved it. Ramona is smart, and she's quirky and weird and outspoken. She's annoying. She feels everything so passionately and deeply, and she's so brave. And I learned a lot from her as a young girl. And I've been reading a lot of articles about Beverly Cleary and about Ramona. And this excerpt from Allison Hope's article perfectly captures my feelings. She writes, "Ramona is there for all of us pets who speak up in meetings even when the men interrupt to talk over us. For us pests who show up unabashedly sporting our soccer shirts and our short hair and our big personalities and our we don't take crap from anyone attitude. Thanks to Beverly Cleary, Ramona Quimby will still be there to fuel the spirits of future female presidents and CEOs, rock stars, and scientists. She'll keep guiding us with that little voice Cleary helped create in our psyches, telling us we can do it." And there's so much power in words and in literature, and it shapes our perspectives, and it can help determine how we react to the world around us. And other books that have helped me are The Boxcar Children. I learned about caring for the people you love. Harry Potter, I learned to be brave. Anne of Green Gables, I learned about awkwardness, social awkwardness, and it's okay to not be the prettiest person in the room. And intelligence is beautiful. I learned about having the courage to try from The Phantom Tollbooth. And from Hatchet, I learned that sometimes you're alone and afraid and angry, and the only person you can count on is yourself. And I feel like there are times throughout my life when I will revisit books to remind myself of these lessons. For example, I've been going through like really challenging things at work recently, and I go back to Hatchet because at the end of the day, it's me. Like, I have to be the one to figure out an action plan. I have to be the one who's solution focused. So I know, like, it's like a book on the surface, and It's a children's book nonetheless, but still there are lessons to be learned.
But no, you're absolutely right. And I do think there's something like therapeutic about literature. This has been, written about by lots of folks much smarter than I. But I think there is something like even about the mechanism of, encountering a book, seeing yourself and other characters and getting engaged in that process of like experiencing an empathy for characters or feeling even seen by characters in a book, I think is really important. I think that, and to be clear, I love TV and movies. This is not a diss on TV and movies. I'm not one of those guys. But there is something active about reading that I think often we don't have when we're watching moving images that can often have more of a pacifying experience, which is fine. And I just don't think you can replicate that, the active experience of reading. I think it does something to your brain that a lot of other methods of culture consumption do not.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on the book thing?
Let us know what books you've read.
Please do.